And more now on today's ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court that upholds state laws barring transgender athletes from playing on girls' and women's sports teams. Maryland does not have any ban on who can play on a female sports team, but our next guest has been working to change that. And joining us now is Maryland State Delegate Kathy Szeliga. She is a Republican representing Baltimore County. Delegate, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this afternoon.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course. And first, just the big talker here, your reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling.
I am very excited about this ruling. 27 states have passed laws similar to a bill that I've put in every year for the last 6 years to say that biological girls are the ones that can play on girls'
All right, Delegate, it looks like we just lost your sound there. I'm so sorry to interrupt. All right, it looks like we just lost the delegate here. We are going to try to touch base with her one more time. Delegate, can you hear me okay?
I am so sorry. Technology's great when it works and awful when it doesn't.
No, you are just fine. We just lost you there. We want to hear what you had to say. Please continue for us, Delegate.
So I am very excited and thankful for the decision today from the Supreme Court. 27 states have passed bills that say only biological girls can compete on girls' teams. This is so important because girls' sports are a zero-sum game. Every spot is filled, and someone that doesn't make the team doesn't sit on the bench, they don't even play the sport. So this is great news. The 27 states that have passed the bill are good to go, and we'll be working on this bill once again in Maryland to protect girls and make sure that girls' sports are for girls.
And you are speaking there of the bill that you have been sponsoring. Talk to us once more, because we cut out just a bit there, on what your proposed legislation would mean for female student athletes. Please, Delegate.
Yes, this bill is really simple, common sense. It is at least an 80-20 bill. It says that junior varsity, JV, and varsity high school girls sports are for biological girls only. Doesn't weigh in on intramural or co-ed or any other sports team, but those competitive sports where girls can get a scholarship or set a record or even go on to compete in the Olympics, those opportunities will be for girls.
And as we've mentioned, Maryland has no law barring this. However, there are several school systems we do want to mention in the state, as we have reported, being investigated by the Department of Education for policies allowing boys to compete on girls' teams and use girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. Delegate, I want to ask you, there has been some debate over this. How common do you believe this issue is in Maryland?
In Maryland, I don't think it's common. And what I find that parents will come to me and say, you know, there is a biological boy playing on a competitive team that's not a high school team. Again, my bill is only for JV and varsity girls, but they're afraid to talk about it because they're afraid that they'll be harassed or canceled. So we see in these other states it's worked out really well. The NCAA, the Olympics, other national and international groups have already weighed in, and they have said that girls' competition, girls' sports will be for biological girls. So, you know, passing this in Maryland will just ensure that every girl who's worked hard off the field will get a chance on the field as well.
Thank you, Delegate. And of course, critics of today's ruling by the Supreme Court, they argue that this is discriminatory to those in the transgender and LGBTQ+ communities and targets a very small group of students. What is your response?
So this certainly doesn't discriminate. It protects girls. You know, otherwise you're discriminating against girls. If you're going to say that biological boys can compete against them, that's discriminatory against girls. But once again, I'll go back to my bill. It is not intramural sports. I am a huge fan of sports. I was a high school athlete. I have granddaughters. I want them to be successful in sports if they choose to do that. And I want everyone to play. But on varsity and JV girls sports, that should be for girls. Let's encourage everyone to play on an intramural or a co-ed or other teams, but make sure those scholarship opportunities and those records and those Olympic opportunities are for girls.
Maryland State Delegate Kathy Szeliga, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here this afternoon, Delegate.
Thank you.
All right, take care.